Hello dear students, myself Gaganpreet Kaur, your subject teacher for business studies. Hope you all are well. In the previous video, we studied about the third chapter of business studies, that is business environment. We have studied about the meaning, the features and what is the importance of the business environment. And also we have studied in the previous video the dimensions of the business environment. And now today in this video we will be studying about the features of new economic policy or new reforms of India. New economic policy 1991. There were three major components of this policy. These three major components of economic policy are: number 1, liberalization; number 2, privatization; number 3, globalization. So let's start studying these three components, also known as LPG. L for liberalization, P privatization, G globalization. It can also come like, what is the LPG scheme of new economic policy? So, starting with these components or elements of the new economic policy, the number 1 here is liberalization. Now, what does liberal means to you? Liberal means to set free. It means abolishing the licensing requirements in most of the industries except few. Also, many restrictions and control which were earlier put on the industries before 1981 were put to an end. The Indian industry was not able to grow due to restrictions of the government. So, for the growth of industries, it was necessary to give them freedom. So, liberalization refers to an end of quota, licensing and many more restrictions which were put on industries before 1991. So, what this liberalization scheme got for the Indian companies? It got in the following ways, like abolition of license except in few, no restriction on expansion or contraction of any business activities, reduction of tax rates, liberalization in import and export. As we know the meaning of liberal means to set free. That means withdrawing restrictions. Easy and simplified procedure to attract FDI, that is foreign capital, foreign direct investment in India. Freedom in movement of goods and services. Freedom in fixing the prices of the goods and services. So next component, because there are three major components of new economic policy, the second component is privatization. Let's talk about privatization. Privatization refers to giving greater role to the private sector and reducing the role of public sector, because the main role in the Indian industry was of the public sector undertaking known as PSU. The private sector had a very little contribution. The PSU were also undergoing through financial crisis and facing huge losses. Thus, the government decided the scheme of disinvestment, in which the shares of the government was to be sold to the private sector. The government's stake in any PSU was restricted to 51%, and any ownership beyond 51% was transferred to the private sector. Thus, the private sector also got an opportunity to hold a stake in the public sector undertakings and manage them for the growth and their profitability. So here we can see that privatization, because by executing this policy of privatization, government took the following steps. What these steps were? Disinvestment in public sector, that is transfer of public sector enterprise to the private sector. Yeah, the second important point is BIFR, known as Board for Industrial and Financial Reconstruction. This board was set up to revive or close sick unit in public sector enterprises suffering losses, because there were many units which were sick. They were not able to earn profit. They were suffering losses. So what was the board's responsibility? The board's responsibility was to check that whether these units can be revived or reopened by some financial assistance or not. If not, then close such units. The third is dilution of stake of the government. As we have studied, the government stake in any PSU, in any public sector undertaking, was restricted to 51%, which means that any ownership beyond 51% was transferred to the private sector. So hope the meaning of privatization is clear. So now let's talk about the third major component or element of new economic policy. This is globalization. We are done with the liberalization and the privatization. Now the last component, because here are three components of this economic policy. The third component is globalization. Now let's talk about this globalization. What is the meaning of globalization? Globalization means the integration of the various economies of the world, leading towards the emergence of a cohesive global economy. Globalization is also known as another policy which is adopted as a new economic policy. As even here you can see, it was also introduced as new economic policy. Globalization. It is like a new economic policy for the reform. Globalization means removing the trade boundaries. Globalization means removing the trade boundaries which exist between the one country and the other country. This policy, the globalization policy, removes the trade restrictions which helps the Indian industry to grow in the foreign market by selling their products over there. There were many trade restrictions before globalization, like import licensing, tariff restriction, and quantity restrictions were there. But the new economic reforms were directed towards import liberalization. As we can see, what measures were taken by this policy? Government removed many restrictions from import of the capital goods also. Export promotion and decrease in the tariff rate. So what were the steps followed? Measures taken by the government in globalization. Second step, FEMA. FERA was replaced by FEMA. FERA means Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. On the other hand, FEMA means Foreign Exchange Management Act. FERA was replaced by FEMA. This act governs the transactions between the resident in India and outside resident. This is the act which governs the transactions between the citizens of the two countries. The third was rationalization of tariff structure, then abolition of the export duty, reduction of the import duty. As a result, of globalization, physical boundaries and political boundaries were reduced. The whole world became a global village. By providing such measures, it involves an increased level of interaction and interdependence among the various nations of the world. Physical and political boundaries no longer remained the barrier for a business. So this is it for the policy, new economic policy 1991. Three major components of this policy was liberalization, privatization, and the third here is globalization. Now let's talk about another topic. There is another topic left in the chapter, also known as demonetization. There is another topic in this chapter known as demonetization. We all know the word demonetization. You all have heard about it, right? On 8th November 2016, the government of India announced demonetization. Rupee 500 and rupee 1000 notes were withdrawn from the circulation, which amounted to 86% of the total currency in circulation at that time. Now, what is demonetization? What is the meaning of demonetization? So, demonetization means withdrawal of coins, notes as a legal tender, which leads to the invalidation of currency in validation of currency in circulation. Therefore, the people of India had to visit banks to deposit these invalid currency notes. Restrictions were placed on cash withdrawals, and also restrictions were placed on the convertibility of domestic money and bank deposits also, which means people visited their banks with rupee 500, rupee 1000 notes, also known as invalid currency notes, to deposit them. They could not get all their currency note exchange with the valid currency notes immediately. The limit of convertibility was fixed. The aim of demonetization was to curb corruption and to extract currency from the money holders who use the currency for illegal activities. This was done to keep a check on accumulation of black money which was not declared to the tax authorities. Now let's talk about the features of demonetization. The features of demonetization are demonetization as a tax administration measures. Due to demonetization, people had to declare their cash holdings to get it exchanged from the banks. So cash holding from the declared income, that is, which was disclosed to the tax authorities, could easily be deposited and exchanged in the banks. But the people with undeclared and unaccounted wealth had to disclose their black money and to pay taxes and penalties. So those having black money had to declare it and pay the penalties. The second feature was of demonetization, non-tolerance of tax evasion, because demonetization also indicated that government will no longer accept any tax evasion. Now what is tax evasion means? Tax evasion means for those people who do not disclose their income, their true income and wealth to the income tax department or authorities, and who avoid paying taxes. That means those people are evading their taxes. So, non-tolerance of tax evasion was done by the government. This money on which taxes are not paid is called black money. The third important feature of demonetization is tax administrating and channelizing saving into formal financial system. Demonetization led to tax administration channelizing saving into the formal financial system. So, all the money which was deposited in the bank could not be withdrawn immediately due to restriction. This provided banks huge funds which it could invest in the economy, leading to more growth and channelizing it into the financial system. Also, the loans were provided at the lower rate of interest. Next important feature is creating less cash or digital cash light economy. This is the another feature of demonetization. The demonetization led to introduction of digital money as a main source of doing transactions, like use of credit card, debit cards, POS means that is point of sale machines, payment apps like Paytm, PhonePe, Bheem, UPI, all gathered spirit and became main source of all the financial transactions. Although there are arguments against also, like they require use of cell phones, they require use of internet connectivity, etc. But still, this is the feature of the demonetization. So this topic is also done. Here you can see the what was the impact of demonetization, the areas and their impact, like in the money and interest rate, the decline, bank deposit increase in the financial saving. If we talk about the private wealth, they also decline. Public sector, there was no effect. If we talk about the digitization, the digital transactions were increased. If we talk about real estate, price decline. And if we talk about the tax collection area, see the tax collection area, there was a rise in tax collection because of increased disclosures which were not did earlier by the people, which were not done by the people earlier. So these are the features and impact of demonetization. There is another topic in NCERT's book which is left. Let's do it at once. That is the impact of government policy, the government policies changes on business and the industry. Let's do it. The first point here is, what was the impact of government policy? Number 1, increasing competition. As a result of changes in the rules of industrial licensing and entry of foreign firms, competition for the Indian firms has increased, especially in the service industries. So we can say that due to globalization, MNCs like multinational companies started supplying many products and brands in India, which led into the increased competition. Second impact, more demanding customers. We all know that customers today have become more demanding because they are well informed. So increased competition gave wider choice to the customers and they prefer better quality goods and services. The third impact was rapidly changing technological environment. Increased competition forces the firms to develop new ways to survive and grow in the market. Due to competition, the companies have formed a different R&D. R&D is known as Research and Development Department for the latest and best quality products. So this we can say that it has changed the technological environment. Next is necessity for change. In a regulated environment of pre-1991 era, the firms could have relatively stable policies and practices, but after that, there was a need for change. We were working as a closed economy with very outdated and a small range of products available. That is why there was a need to change. Fifth point, need for developing human resources. Indian enterprises have suffered for long with inadequately trained personnel. So, to make the products according to the customer's choice, the first was to know the choice of the customers and then produce the product. The last one is about market orientation. What is market orientation? As earlier firms used to produce first and go to the market for sale later. The PSU, like public sector undertakings, I can say, the PSUs has now to earn profit for themselves to survive in the market. They had to be market oriented. So in the fast changing world, there was a shift to market orientation in which the firms have to study and analyze the market first and then produce the goods accordingly. So this is it. The chapter is done. The topics were completed. Like topic we did meaning of the business environment, importance, features of the business environment, dimensions of business environment, and in this video we completed with the new economic policy. The topics were liberalization, privatization, and globalization. There was another topic, demonetization, and lastly we did what was the impact of these government policies on businesses and industries. So this is it for this chapter. Thank you all.